welcome back to another old sketchbook commentary. I'm hoping we finish this one out today. Let's see, I gotta find where we were though. Where were we? I think this is it. Okay. Alright, so right here it looks like this is Anguillus, another Godzilla monster. Looking more like a armadillo. Basically, it's literally just Anguillus as an armadillo, which in Godzilla Final War, he actually pulls out that ability, the ability to roll up into a ball. They ripped me off. That's like an ongoing theme in these. Like, people just ripping me off because I didn't do anything with these ideas. But of course, you know, it's not a case of... I don't really think that they rip me off. I think that they... I'm just being facetious. Okay, so this one is a little weird. I had this weird Atlantis idea where it was basically Dino Riders, where Atlantis had dinosaurs in it for some reason. I don't remember the exact backstory. It's literally just Atlantis. It was an advanced civilization, and they had dinosaurs. And this was some kind of like weird, like catamaran or whatever they call that when they put the things on the elephant so you can ride around on them. And then this thing controls his brain. It's Dino Riders. And then this is a weird snake guy. I don't know. I was probably just playing around with the shapes or whatever. I don't think this is from any ideas that I had. Kind of looks like... I think there's a type of monster in D&D that kind of looks like that. Maybe that's what I was going for. And then I added legs for some reason. Alright, again, wow, that's almost an exact replica of the other one. Yeah, so... one of the things was... in this Atlantis thing, these dinosaurs were like radiovores. They could eat radiation the way plants eat sunlight or whatever. That was one of the concepts I had. And so they would grow extra large and stuff like that. And it would kind of tie loosely into Godzilla a little bit. So you can see that these characters kind of... this kind of looks like Rodan, and this kind of looks like Anguillus, and this kind of looks like Godzilla. So there you go. I'm a dork. These guys, oh man. God, what was it? Inhumanoids. Yeah, there was a toy line. I never had the toys, but I did watch the straight-to-video cartoon that my friends had. It was the Inhumanoids. There were these three big monsters. I don't remember I think his name was Tendril and his name was Decay. And Decay would like hold people in his ribs and turn them into zombies. It was so metal. It was like these crazy like Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft creatures just come up from the ground, and these guys in these mech suits have to fight them. One of them has like a crazy like bear trap like on the back of his arm, and like he puts his hands together like that and like closes like a bear trap. It's freaking awesome. Like half a bear trap on one arm, half on the other, puts his hands together like that, and then they spring shut. And yeah, and then also he like uses them to climb like Wolverine and stuff. It's like whatever. The stuff we thought was cool, I guess. That's still cool. What am I saying? This is probably more D&D stuff. I have no idea. Gargoyle, Demon, and Dragon. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to make some kind of chart so I could make some random monsters or something. And this sketchbook's old. This is the oldest one I've got, as I said before, so it's falling apart. We're going to try to keep it together, though. This looks like it was trying to be Fang, but he just became way too sexy, so I stopped drawing. I was like, no, too sexy. There, right amount of sexy. So I finished this one. Again, it's Slash Fang. He's a character from the Primal Rage. I only knew about him from the toy line, but apparently he wasn't even in the original game. He was going to be in the sequel, though. The sequel, which is available like on MAME right now. I think there's a cabinet out there, but it was never officially released. So this is my Slash Fang drawing. This might go back to, I don't know, some kind of weird, looks like a weird anime creature. Looks like I tried to give her wings or something. She runs super fast. And she, I don't know, that's better. That's a better look. Use the ears to fly, right? Crazy bunny chick. I think it was like a little bit of a, like a burgeoning furry or something like that, at some point in my life. I don't know. Anthropomorphic animals are fun to draw. I mean, there's a reason why half of Disney's movies are about them. So they're just kind of fun to draw. I did have to wear a furry costume when I worked at a radio station once. Maybe I'll tell that story some other time. It goes to some dark places. This is Q. And this is in 2000. So clearly, like, I started this book in 2000 or 99, and this is 2000. So here we are in the year 2000. In the year 2000. Q from the movie of the same name, Quetzalcoatlus. Actually, the movie's called Q, but the monster's name is Quetzalcoatlus. But since you can't put that on a movie poster in America and people will know what the hell it is, they just called it Q. And it's a really fun movie that's basically... it's basically Godzilla in 1998, the Matthew Broderick one, if they did it right, and Godzilla could fly. It's so cool, though, because, like... Oh, man, there's so many great parts of this movie. There's a scene where, like, the monster's just, like, flying around and just snatching people from rooftops. And every time it grabs somebody, it's like blood is raining. So it's just, like, this crazy, like, almost biblical, like, godlike being that is just freaking people out in New York City. And they eventually find out it has a nest and stuff, and it basically follows almost the exact same plot as Godzilla 1998, except for there's like a weird criminal in there who talks about dainty little elephants. Dainty, do you want me to tell you about the girl I found with the dainty little elephants on her bracelet? It's like, you just have to see the movie to understand what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, that little squiggle there, that's kind of my signature. I've since added the rest of my name to it, but just that JF, just quick, almost a circle. Doohickey. Yep. And I think, like, I had almost taken a break from drawing for a few months, and then I came back and started drawing again, and obviously this is that same Pumpkinhead figure from earlier. That's the Bride of Chucky figure. From that same action figure line. But, yeah, that's... I think I was just, like, focusing on making it look real, rather than trying to, draw my usual goofy, cartoony dinosaurs. But then I immediately went back on my bullshit. Man... I swore. Now I gotta edit that. I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying not to swear at all in these videos because I don't want to... I want it to be like PG at the very least. Not sure what this is. Some kind of weird dinosaur. I don't know what's going on with his hands. There's probably some backstory that I've since forgot. He looks like a half human, half dinosaur or something. This guy is, there's like a race in Star Wars, and I made like a Sith Lord version of one of those guys. They're weird. They got like tongues that come out of their nose and stuff, so it's just weird. I don't know. I was way into the Star Wars role-playing game too. I never actually got to play that one, but I read through the book and fell in love with it. I've also got like character guides and guides to the alien races and stuff that are completely not canon now, thanks to the new movies. But whatever. I still have them around. Maybe I'll whip them out and show them off at some point. Here he is. I don't remember the name of it. I just like that he was like a crazy raptor with tongues that came out of his nose. It was a weird idea. But yeah, he's like a raptor, and I gave him like a crazy lightsaber. So there was a drawing in the last sketchbook that showed like a cast of characters for like a webcomic that I thought about making and never got around to. I think this was their ship. I'm pretty sure this was their ship. It's very like Spaceballs inspired. And the idea is that their engine is back here. The engine unit, they kind of like, they're a cargo ship. And there would be like different attachments for it and stuff. And then this was their engine, and if something happens to their engine, they can just, like, detach it. Later on, they end up with a weird alien back there instead of an engine, and it's feeding off they end up using it as an engine, and it gives them the abilities, new abilities that their ship didn't have before. Kind of like a weird Lex kind of thing, where the ship's alive and it needs to eat and stuff. Man, does anybody remember Lex? I hope not. No, I'm kidding. Lex was awesome. Broom and G for life, yo. Let's see, and these are just different ship designs for that. That looks totally like a Galaxy Quest design. I probably lifted that from there. Well, this one looks like it got beat up. We're just going to pull that out so you can see it. Let's see. I have no idea what that stuff in the middle is. I think right around the time of me, right around the time I was drawing this, they discovered a new Carnosaur theropod in Antarctica, and it's called Cryolophosaurus, and this was my idea of how it looked. I was a little bit off. I gave him the wings or whatever, and then there's a Carnotaurus and a Dilophosaurus. So I was drawing it based on a description I read in a magazine. I don't know how close I was. I'd have to look it up, but I'm always excited about different dinosaur news. They just found like a dinosaur mummy, basically, in some oil. Basically, they were drilling for oil, and they found like a mummified dinosaur, just a pure impression of a dinosaur. It looks like it's almost just sleeping. It's gorgeous. And here's a what do you call them? Oviraptor, the egg thieves. We've since learned that they probably did eat eggs, but they weren't dependent on eating eggs. And the fact that the famous image the famous fossil specimen that these guys were caught, basically it shows one of these and a Protoceratops fighting, and scientists thought, the Protoceratops must have been defending his nest from this evil egg thief. But as it turns out, Protoceratops was probably just really stupid, and they were fighting. He was protecting his nest, and the Protoceratops was standing his ground. So that's what actually happened there. They actually looked at the eggs and found out, like, no, he was just protecting his nest. He wasn't trying to steal someone else's eggs. So there's that. And here we have, looks like all kinds of dinosaurs. I must have just been on a dinosaur kick. Every now and then I get on one. Herrerasaurus, Aliwalia, Allosaurus, Giganotosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Lilian sternus, Dilophosaurus, Carnotaurus, Acanthrosaurus, Baryonyx. Baryonyx has like a longer snout than that, but whatever. Yeah, Albertosaurus. It's like a little T-Rex. Actually, now they think that maybe it's a separate species, so who knows? I don't have a lot left. I try to make these videos like 15 minutes, but I think I'm just going to blow through the rest of this. Why not? Let's do it. These were more villains for that space-based webcomic I was thinking about doing. Again, it looks like a Galaxy Quest. I think that these were like crazy dinosaur people who had living ships, and they were actually like parasitic somehow. Like they were being controlled by these things, actually. And there was like a queen, and the queen was their entire planet. So these guys were these warrior race that was being controlled by the queen, which was enveloping their entire planet, and eventually it ended up killing them. And this is kind of, I don't know, this is your basic idea. This is what it looks like when the planet explodes, and it's just a tiny little queen on top of this ginormous planet-sized egg sac that explodes and sends seeds out into the universe. So that's just another idea that's never gonna this is the closest it's gonna come to seeing the light of day. Another plot line in that space webcomic idea was that they actually subsisted on what they called Meatpods, which were actually just like genetically engineered chickens that grow like plants. And they end up, these aliens end up finding them and reverse engineering them, and they end up creating a monster to fight the members of the crew. And it looks like this. A crazy plant chicken that's going to eat them. They've since started like genetically engineering chickens that have teeth. I don't know if you've heard that. They don't let them grow very big, but before destroying them. But yeah, they don't get past embryo stage. But the idea of making a chicken into a dinosaur is not that far off. These guys were like a mining race. They mined asteroids, and their babies looked like hot dogs, which the crew finds out the hard way. That was a fun diversion. And then, of course, this is like, they go to a zombie planet, and they end up bringing a hand back with them, and then for a couple of their adventures, the hand like jumps off and starts infecting all of the other places that they go, until finally they figure out what's going on. Yeah, they just kind of like go through the universe accidentally destroying everything they discover. It's like an anti-Star Trek. They try not to interfere, but they totally do. And then here's another look at the ship, the different compartments. This is like a cargo bay or whatever. And then that's the engine. They eventually lose it, and they get this weird living engine that's leeching off of their ship. All right, and then we got Shadow Man and the Crow for some reason. I don't know. I really like Shadow Man. It was a great game. And then The Crow is a great movie. R.I.P. Brandon Lee, right? There's another ninja. These were drawn in pen. I was probably just goofing around. There's a coiling looking dragon. Kind of looks like a mist dragon from Dungeons and Dragons. And then the last page, what is that? Looks like cobwebs. Gross. And another drawing of the crow. So, you know, if you're ever feeling blue, just remember, it can't rain all the time, right? Please like, comment, and subscribe.